Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm joined by my two favorite Wednesday show hosts, Genty Maxi.
Hello.
And Tumantis.
Hello.
You're just hanging us out there to dry, aren't you? Where did Jen go? Come back.
I was like, if I say hello right now, he'll be like, she's talking to me. I'm like, no.
You can't go. All the plants are going to die.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to change the bar. Let me turn the bar off.
Yeah, good idea.
I don't know that I would trust that just yet, Hammer. I still live in the neck of the woods where, even though it's +7 right now, yesterday was -7.
Well, I'm not going to turn down a 70-degree day, that's for sure. Anyway, how you doing, Jen?
Other than Canada not knowing when to make up its mind on the weather thing, because that does make you feel like shit.
Yeah.
It's been okay. Like, if I ignore the politics, it's actually quite nice.
Yeah, I'm a little upset about that too. We probably should talk about it on the show, as a matter of fact. Terry, how you doing?
I'm all right. Bit tired, but you know, half of the course.
Instead of asking you how you're doing, I should just start off the show with saying, "So, how tired are you?"
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I do have trouble sleeping. There was noise from the road that kept me up a bit.
I'm okay, except I have a new medication to take. I think I was telling you about this on the Rumble part before we got to the YouTube part. It's like you take like a golf ball sized amount of sand and pour it into an 8-ounce cup and then drink it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like, it's not like it tastes bad, but it's like, how many people are comfortable swallowing a golf ball sized amount of sand? It's just
No.
The good thing is, though,
you got to do what you got to do, but no,
it's just to get rid of the potassium that's in my system. But the good thing, though, is it gives me justification to eat a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, and for the record, potassium killed my father.
Yeah.
You should explain that.
Okay. Well, when my dad decided that he had enough and stopped his dialysis treatment, the doctor recommended that he consume a lot of potassium because potassium will just give you a heart attack, as opposed to the rather more protracted death that kidney failure would lead to. And so, yeah, the official cause of death is heart attack, and is the potassium what done it.
Yeah, if your body goes beyond a certain level of potassium, your heart just can't deal with it. You'll have a heart attack.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a tough thing. I'm kind of in that position because I have stage 4 kidney disease and I've already suffered one heart attack. Actually, 2 heart attacks. One was major, one was minor. So, yeah, I have to be very careful of my potassium because kidney disease equals potassium problems.
It's like my dad was funny because he knew that he was meant to be careful, but he just didn't care. Yeah. Like even before, like he decided to stop his dialysis, like just his day-to-day life. He's like, I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm having a ham, cheese, and tomato sandwich. Like, fuck it, I just want one. I'm like, all right. Yeah.
Potassium is measured from 0 to 5. Most people hover around 1, 1.5, or something like that, because that's one of the things that your kidney does. Your kidneys get rid of potassium in your system. If they're not working properly, they don't weed out the potassium. Your body will just build it up and build it up, build it up. Anything over 5, you're in danger. Anything over 6, and you should be in the hospital. And my last measurement was like 5.9, so I'm right on the cusp of it. Yeah, but we got it under control. I got a new medication. Take it once a day. It's sand, but it's going to keep my potassium down. So,
well, yeah. If the options are death or consuming a golf ball sized thing of sand, take the sand.
That's Eddie. That's Eddie Izzard. Kick or death.
Basically, yeah.
You said death. I'm going to give you death. I guess we should probably say hello to everybody in chat before we get into not doing the topics.
So over on Rumble, let me scroll back up to the top. We have JB, we have Kivadan, we have Jack Gunsky, Tier Alexander. I think I saw a tall person join. Let's see if he's... Yep, there's tall person. And I think that's everyone. Sorry if I missed you. Let me know if I did. That should be everyone there.
Who do we have on YouTube, Jen?
All right. Well, we start with you, sir.
Hello.
Hello, Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother's in the room making some lunch for dinner for himself. Gotta remember what time of day it is.
This was just you and Rotten on YouTube.
Yeah. Hi, Rotten. And we got the furry bastard. And we got Keep It In. And we got Tall Person. And we got Terry. Hi, Terry.
Hello.
We got Tier. And we got Green. Hi, Green. And we got the Libertarian Duelist. I can say it. See?
Yeah.
And we got Mystery S. And then we got myself and Costin. Hi, Costin.
OG.
Yeah.
Og.
Original gangster. He's one of the people from when Minions first started back in the
Yes,
day.
I know.
No, that was
It is
mostly
just
for other
funny
people
to
who
hear,
don't know.
It's just funny to hear like someone referred to as OG because in my head it just sounds like Og.
I guess we can go over the topics, but I do want to talk about what's going on in Canada. So that'd probably be the first thing we cover. But Blown Up Sir is a reference to Stripes, the movie, because of Elon's ability to throw a frisbee out to the audience. People are calling him Nazi and stuff like that. So they're blowing up his cars. So Pam Bondi's on the case. She's using video surveillance to bring people. She's going to charge him with terrorism if she catches people. So if you're blowing up a Tesla, you're going to be a terrorist. And that's like 10 years in jail. So think twice.
Well, I think that should be a good incentive for you to not do that. So
yes.
Please stop.
It's like it goes beyond vandalism. Like on the right, okay, I could see somebody drawing in snow and being like, "You're a fucktard," because that'll melt and it doesn't do shit to you. Or the odd retard who might, okay, I could see someone using the lipstick or something. But I'm sorry, that's still vandalism. The minute you touch somebody else's stuff, they have the right to prosecute you. And given the fact that these are not cheap cars, I support them prosecuting you.
A place out in California, they threw Molotov cocktails and burnt 5 cars.
And that alone is a no because, then you're putting other people at risk.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Well, there was a drive-by at one of the places that was selling. They shot at the store.
Yeah, that's terrorism.
Yeah,
it is.
That's terrorism.
Yeah.
Sorry, treat them like they are. I'm sorry that some of these old fucks are honestly, I don't know if this is the media, but I am pointing at the media because they're still hyped up with this. Like, I do agree with holding Trump to the same fire as you should hold every politician.
Of course.
But this thing where they're like, you can just go out and attack people and shoot people thing.
No, you can't do that.
You can't. You've also ruined your argument. Other people are watching that and they're like, yeah, these people are just nuts.
The Democrats are flailing, they've lost it.
Tall person in chat says at least 3 people have already been caught, which is good. Hope they catch more.
Good. Put them in jail. Give them 10 years. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, these are the people who cry about climate change this, climate change that. But they're setting fires.
Remember when the Democrats were pro-electric vehicles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Tier in chat is saying that they bitch about climate change and then burn Teslas and
Yeah.
That's not good for the environment.
What's happening in Canadian now? I've been ignoring the news.
For us, it's a double whammy because you have people doubling down on the tariffs that haven't happened yet, Terry. They haven't happened yet. I mean,
isn't it April 2nd? He said was the day.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, he said that last month, and he said it the month before that. He keeps giving us leeway, and both sides. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed with both sides. Keep doubling down on this whole we're going to respond with tariffs thing. we've been going at the US with tariffs for probably the last 10 to 20 years, it looks like.
And not small tariffs either. From what I've seen, there's like a 250% tariff on American eggs and milk and stuff like that.
It's been noticeable up here.
300% on butter.
There you go.
It's been so noticeable up here. Like, we've been struggling. It hasn't just been the last 5 years. It's been 10 years. And like 20 years ago, like, yeah, we could tell that things were going up, but like you could tell in the US that things were going up too. So it seemed kind of normal. Sure. Like, there's still inflation, but
see, I think the Canadian politicians, if they wanted to win my respect, they would just admit that they need the US far more than the US needs them. Like, just common sense level is like, if you want to get into a tariff war with the United States, like, all right, well, R.I.P. Canada.
You lose. Loser. I don't want to say anything too dramatic here because I don't want to get Jen mad at me, but you're going against the United States, that's for Canada. I mean, we can easily handle Russia as far as tariffs and that kind of stuff because they are bogged down in Ukraine. The only people that we would have a problem enforcing tariffs with is China, because they're not involved in anything at the moment and they have all the resources they need to fight a tariff war.
Like, my point is, like, Canada feuding with America is such a one-sided thing. It would be the same with Australia. If Australia declared a tariff war with the United States, then Australia would lose badly.
Like,
okay, if that's what you want to do, go ahead.
Yeah, but like that's my point. Is like, this is like, even me. Like, I'm in Australia. I recognize that we are not the power in the relationship. The United States very much is. It's like, just common sense will tell you that.
Trump said this to Zelensky. You guys don't have the cards.
Exactly. Yeah.
America has all the cards. The thing is, our military is fantastic. Nobody can stop our military. But when it comes to the economy, we are more vulnerable, even though I would still say we're either one or two. It's either us or China that's number one or number two. There's some argument back and forth about who's leader in that circumstance. But we don't have the ability to take on more than one person in a tariff war. Nobody really does.
No.
There's no economy that can say, well, we can have a tariff war with these 7 countries. Well, that's not, no. You're gonna end up losing in that one. You know, we can take, as far as militarily, 7 countries, not a problem for the United States. We can take them all out, not a big deal. But it's not the same when it comes to the economy.
Well,
so
that's especially because so many countries skimp on their military on the assumption that America will protect them.
Well, we told them we would.
Yeah,
part of NATO. We said, if you have a problem, the United States will take care of you. So.
No, I'm like, rightly so. But I'm just saying that the reason America's military is so much stronger than everyone else is because so many countries have said, you know what? We're not going to invest in our military. We're just going to let America handle it.
Yeah, you guys got us, right? You guys got us? You got us? We're good? Okay, good.
Well,
why isn't Canada paying us for our military coverage?
Yeah.
Well, for some of that has to do with our own guys. So, like, when it comes to military, we do have to do checks with you guys when it comes to it. It's not about bowing down to you, but we are your neighbors. So if we suddenly started arming up a bunch, which, I mean, we don't have the population to do that anyway, but if we did, you wouldn't like it anyway. You'd be like, you could stop fucking doing that. But when it comes to protecting our own border, they don't put money into anything up here. Anything where we've been screaming at them, please invest in this. Please invest in this. We should be matching them to the best of our abilities.
With all the taxes that they put on you, you would think.
It's one of those things where, like, no, we're not going to match you by country because we can't. We fit in Texas closets, you know, like, as far as population, but we should still be matching you to the best of our abilities. And no, we've been screaming for a while. Like, our industries have been yelling for help. There's a fight up here right now with our own guys because there are people up here who are skating on the edge of actually being traitors, and I might be one of them too, because sometimes I take the joke of the 51 state thing. But the reason that we're doing that so much isn't because we want to turn tail on Canada. It's because we're so fucking tired of the disappointment.
Well, I mean, I legit tweeted, can Australia be the 51st state if Canada doesn't want it?
Well, you know what I'm saying, Terry? It's like when you look at our ancestors and like our ancestors, like my grandparents, well, his brother was fighting in World War II. And then I look at us now and I'm like, we are so far down the hill from what our grandparents were.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's actually really embarrassing. When you actually stop and think about it and you actually take the time to think about it, it's actually really, really embarrassing. I mean, the US is not that much better, but
now. Life is a lot easier now. So humans don't need to be as strong as they were in the past. And so they just never get that strong because they don't need to.
I understand where Trump's coming from when he says he wants to make Canada our 51st state. I understand. I know it's kind of a slap in the face. I understand all that. But the point being is if you just try to take a dispassionate look at what he's saying, you guys really would benefit from being part of the United States.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so I mean, you would have much better medical coverage. I know that's a bitch that you guys have. Your housing situation would be resolved in quick order. There's a lot of things being affiliated with us that closely would do for it. It'd be a huge benefit. But
I think America would be disadvantaged because you'd have a second California if you made Canada a state.
Yeah. Well, that would you know, we're not compatible. It's a joke. It's a joke, but I understand what he's saying is that if it can't happen, but if it could happen, it would actually be a benefit for Canada.
I think it should happen for no reason other than to link Alaska back to the rest of the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good thing we don't really travel between like Washington and Alaska very much, because that'd be a bitch if you had like thousands of people traveling every day back and forth between the two states. That'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So it's still probably going to end up being Pierre before Mark Carney. As much as the Liberals are pushing a strong front for Mark, he's kind of come in such a way that has us all absolutely pissed off. Like we do have a lot of respect for England and the UK, but the idea that we're going to let somebody who was working in their government system suddenly become a part of our government system, that's just absolutely taboo. That just is absolutely taboo. You don't do that. You know, we're not electing, technically speaking, Elizabeth May as an American. That's one of the reasons I don't vote for her, is because she's fucking American. And I like Americans. I do have a lot of respect for you guys. But a Canadian
you like us. The rest of America can go kick rocks.
I like specific Americans.
You know, there is that little bit of thing to me. Like and I don't care what you look like. You just need to be from my fucking country. Actually be born here.
Too sexy for my car. I think that it's a little bit different the other way around. I think Americans have a natural affection for both Canadians and Australians.
Yeah.
I think it would be hard to find someone in the United States who says, "Oh, I fucking hate Australia." I don't think anyone ever says that here. And the same thing for Canada. There's a special love for Canadians that you don't see. You know, America hates everybody else, even the allies like Europe. They fucking hate Europe, but they love Canada.
I always thought that America and Canada had the same sort of relationship as Australia and New Zealand, where you pretend to hate each other, but it's like more like a friendly rivalry than like an actual.
It's teasing on a game. Like, I mean, taking the hockey shit that went on last month aside, it's meant to be taking the piss.
Like I made a joke on Twitter where someone was talking about Carl Urban, and I said, I don't know who that is, but if they want him to play Johnny Cage in the movie, sure, why not? And then I followed up saying, actually, I just looked it up and he's a Kiwi, so I retract my statement. He's a terrible choice for anything and everything.
He's a country singer, right? Keith Urban?
I have no idea.
I think he is.
Oh, no, not Keith Urban, Carl Urban.
Oh, Carl, sorry.
And I don't know who that is. Apparently he's an actor. And they wanted him to play Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat movie. It's like, sure, why not?
Cage.
I think it's also because of the nature of our country, it really is just a thing that sometimes the only people close enough by to help out in case of natural disasters, it is really the US or Canada, you know, and vice versa. You know, there's only so much we can do. but I had this conversation in Discord earlier about, you know, what I remember about Katrina. And I remember what I remember about Katrina was the running gag up here was that we donated so much blood that you guys have a like an empty warehouse in the middle of buckfuck nowhere with dried out Canadian blood in it. You know, because if we don't know what to do, we'll either send money or we'll donate blood. You know, like that's if we can't cross the border ourselves to go help you in the same way that we know you would do for us, that's our thinking because we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Mr. Yes says that a friend of his went to Canada in Manitoba and every Canadian was mean to him. Was he a
really?
Jerk? If your friend was a jerk, that might be why that happened.
I'm shocked to hear that, to be honest with you.
That could happen.
Maybe now, because we've been very arrogant in the last couple of years.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Thierry's saying Carl Urban was Judge Dredd in the remake and Vasco in the Chronicles of Riddick. That means absolutely nothing to me. So I still don't know who Carl Urban is. Except that he's a Kiwi and therefore terrible.
Those were actually pretty good movies, though.
Fair enough. I'm not going to disagree with you.
So one of the things I will say that is going on up here that does scare me a lot is our media has gone absolutely ham on this shit. And no, there's a lot of elderly Canadians who don't go past the newspaper articles. You know, they listen to their TV and that's it. You know, so a lot of them are taking more offense to it than they need to because our media can say one thing and then you look into it and you're like, so there was more to this context, huh?
No, that's true everywhere. Same here in the United States. The Democrats always say this, that, the other, and it's just a headline. When you read further down in the body of whatever they're reporting, you know, paragraph 17 or something like that, they contradict themselves right away. So
of course. And
by the way, this entire article is bullshit.
Over on Rumble, JB just says Manitoba sucks. I just like that.
It still works though. Like, and that's the thing with the Dems right now is they're flailing with the last thing that they have that they know works. And it is meant to inspire fear. And a lot of people up here do get scared of this kind of shit because our guys are just as violent as yours. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's reciprocal. I'm not saying that Canadians like us as much. But I just think that I've never actually met anybody who said even anything bad about Canada. Everyone's like, oh, it's cold. That's about the worst you're going to get from an American. So, and really not from North American people in Pennsylvania are like, yeah, they're cold, about the same cold we are. Not really that much different, you know, because they pretty much is. But
that's why if I ever went to the United States, it would have to be the warm
Florida?
part. Yeah, no, Florida sounds like
Texas.
It would be my kind of weather.
Arizona.
Well, those sound like they'd be too dry because I'm used to.
Yeah, Arizona would be like Northern Territory. It'd be like there's no plants anywhere.
But
I've been to Arizona.
Florida sounds like it's similar weather to what I'm used to, so that'd probably be my best bet in terms of somewhere in the United States to go.
Florida,
so like Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, those type of places.
Florida's sticky. I don't know if you want to be there. There's a lot of humidity. It's like walking through molasses. It's pretty tough.
Well, I haven't been there, so it might be even more humid than I'm used to. But where I live, it is very humid quite often, so I'm kind of used to it.
To give you an idea, you could wash your clothes in Florida and put them out on a line to dry, and then come back the next day and they're still wet.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's probably
it is the most favorite word in the whole world: moist.
Then maybe somewhere slightly drier than Florida, but
I would.
Texas.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you were to pick anywhere on the coast, I would go with Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give Texas a try next time. If I ever do go to the United States again.
Texas actually has heat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Texas sounds like it might be quite similar to Australian weather.
Yeah.
That's what Mr. Yes is saying as well.
You don't want to go to California. California has seasons.
God, no. Well, just because it's California, I don't want to go there.
There are parts of California that are not blue. Like Carlsbad is very red. So there are pockets of red in California.
I will agree that Carl's bad, but only because he's a Kiwi, as we've established.
But I mean, you want to stay away from LA and, you know, San Francisco and all that kind of shit. They're all blue cities, but there are some red cities that are pretty awesome over in California.
Okay. But no, I mean, chances are I'm never going to go to America. It's very far away. And so I don't really have the incentive. If there was like a reason, like if there was like a Minions get together where like there was like a whole bunch of people that I could meet at once, because like otherwise, like everyone I know in America is too spread out. So I wouldn't like, I couldn't go to this location and meet like 5 friends. It'd be like, well, I've got to go here to meet one person, then go over there on the other side of the country, and then go down that way. So yeah, it wouldn't be practical.
See, I would make that trip. I'd come in to Perth and you know, give FAR a hard time, and then I would fly across the country and do the coast, to do Melbourne, and Sydney,
but I think that's kind of different because you'd only be like you wouldn't be doing anything in the middle of the country. You'd just be doing the West Coast and then the East Coast. Whereas I would be going, okay, well, you know, this guy lives in Montana, this guy lives in Texas, this guy lives is like,
yeah.
I'd be like,
well, we are kind of similar in the idea that there isn't much in the middle. I mean, there's states and people live in there, but if you look at the population of the states in the center, they could call them flyover states because there's not many people there. It's more of a smiley face. You go down California, go across through Texas, then back up the coast. It's more of a smile than anything else. In the middle part, there usually isn't very many people. Like Montana's like, there's like 4 people who live in that state. There's nobody there.
Yeah, like, you know, is it Colorado and I think is that where Cochrane's from? I'm trying to remember where different people are living because it all blurs together. But there's people in so many different states. So for me to meet like my friends would be quite a journey.
Well, now if I did want to interest you in one place in Arizona, and it's just so Phoenix? We can have a in Arizona they have a Bridge of London over a river that's surrounded by palm trees that a guy kidnapped in 1970 for like $2 million that he autistically took apart and then repurchased in Arizona. And whenever you bring it up with the Brits, they kind of grit their teeth because the bridge they got looks boring as shit.
How come it takes 16 hours to go from New York City to LA, but it takes 54 hours to go from south to north in Australia? It doesn't. Like if you go from this, like say Tasmania to Queensland, that's not going to take 54 hours unless you get there by flying south.
Around the globe and come up to the other side.
Did you hop on one of the truck trains to cross?
That's the only way it's going to take you 54 hours.
Australia is wider than it is tall.
Yes, it is.
So it would take you more going from coast to coast than it would be north and south. I mean, all the countries are, right?
He took the kangaroo route.
Maybe only China's more of the squarish because Russia is wider, Australia's wider, states are wider, Canada's wider, right? They're all wide, but not very tall.
No hammer. Right. Russia is a giant crouching Slav.
Yeah, and I do like that. I think it's Montana, and I forget what the other state is. But, the western border of Montana looks like Joe Biden sniffing like Ohio or whatever the state next to Montana is. If you look at the shape of the state,
I cannot see it now that I've seen it pretty much.
That's my favorite like visual quirk of like borders is like Montana sniffing whatever the next country over is, the next state over. And also I do know how to recognize Kentucky on the American map because someone drew a picture of a chef holding a plate of chicken and Kentucky was the chicken in that picture. So there you go.
I was watching a YouTube video and I was just kind of going through shorts and there was a short of a guy trying to explain how Texas was so big. And he's like, Texas is, people don't understand how big Texas is. It takes 12 hours just to move from the shore to the top of Texas. And he's like, Texas is so big. Here's Ireland, and he puts Ireland inside of Texas. You see how small Ireland is compared to the size of Texas? And then he puts like half of Europe in there. See how half of Europe fits? And he says, and this is the best part of it. At the very end of the video, he says, Texas is so big, you can fit another copy of Texas inside it.
That's
and
true.
he shows them taking Texas and fitting it inside Texas. It's pretty funny.
Amazing how that works.
It's fun. It's just funny. So big that even it could fit itself inside of itself.
Yes,
that's how big it is.
And Tara is listing where a whole bunch of people live, and like, there's so many different states being mentioned. For me to visit my friends would be like mission impossible. There's just too many, too spread out.
I don't know where anybody is. They do have a get-together on a regular basis. If you're on the Minions Discord server, Adam and Quiz and
Sanguine have a snuggle party in a camp.
But I think they hooked. Well, they also visited Weibo, and I think Chaos Eve was there. So it was 5.
Yeah.
So they've done that before.
I like teasing Adam by telling him it was Snuggle Bunnies because of the picture of them in the tent together.
Oh, God. Kiva then points out that we know which state she lives in, which is true.
I don't keep track of that stuff. You could tell me and I'll just forget it tomorrow. It's almost on purpose.
Okay. Well, since she seems to be suggesting that everyone knows, I'll just say she's in Wisconsin. Because the Kenosha thing with Rittenhouse.
Right.
Yeah, I think she lives near there.
Sorry, I know Wisconsin as the cheese place. The place to go for cheese.
Yeah, Cheeseheads, right? That's Wisconsin. Green Bay Packers.
I also worked at a deli, so I was supposed to sell that cheese, and this is what I used to tell my own. I was like, listen, I just make good cheese, and I will make samples for people, and I'll sell it. And if you put it on sale, I'll sell more of it.
Good. And Mr. Yes says the shape of Pennsylvania is a factory with a chimney on the top left. At least I'm assuming PA is Pennsylvania.
It is. The poll is out for those of you paying attention. Oh, people are already voting. Look at that.
All right, Kiever Dam. I'm being sly since I'm a cheese person. Favorite cheese?
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge either because
we should have all our favorite cheese. What's her favorite cheese? What's your favorite cheese?
I like a Dublin. There's a Dublin Irish cheese that I like. It's a kind of hard cheddar. It's a little salty.
Provolone.
Ooh.
I don't know that I have a favorite cheese. Like, I don't buy cheese to eat. Generally, like, my microwave meals will have cheese in them, and I'm assuming it's
probably American, right?
Parmesan or mozzarella or one of the typical cheeses that goes on food. But I wouldn't go to the shops and like buy a block of cheese.
Yeah, that's generally cheddar or American.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mozzarella is like mozzarella is like stringy pull, like it doesn't break. It's just you can just pull it for like taffy. That's crazy.
And Tall Person is saying he had Gouda for the first time last week, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'll eat cheese. It's not like I have an aversion to it. It's just it's not something that I'm going to buy for just to have cheese. Generally, the food I buy has cheese in it or on it.
Yeah, I didn't want to pressure you, Keith. I know you're working and stuff. It's just a fun question. Not everybody even eats cheese. Like, you know, some places they're like, what the fuck is that shit?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy to eat cheese. If like when I go to visit family for like Christmas, like they'll have like, you know, cheese and crackers, so I'll eat those. But yeah, it's not something that I would buy for myself.
I love cheese, but I can't really eat it very much because it doesn't agree with me. It's a dairy product, and I can't really do dairy, but every once in a while, if someone gets like a pizza or something like that, I'll have a slice, and I can usually tolerate a slice. If I eat what I would like to eat and I have 3 slices, I'll be sick. But I can usually do 1.
It's quite a lot of cheese. Like it doesn't seem like it, but like cheese used to be one of those replacements for meat. Like it's not a meat replacement. It's just if you don't have protein, it is a way to get some protein.
And Green Badger is saying garbage is the band, and as heaven is wide is no choice. Well, yeah, I mean, there's only 4 spots on the poll. You can't put every good garbage song.
Yeah, we do love the cheese tier. It like I said, it's kind of a poor people thing. Like you might not afford to have that really nice juicy meat, but you could afford some decent cheese. So cheese culture is a real thing. But if I have a choice between a wedge of cheese and a steak, I'm taking the fucking steak.
Cool. Mr. Yes says, would I have cheese and crackers or cheese and Vegemite? Cheese and Vegemite. Out of those 2 choices, I would definitely have the Vegemite with the cheese.
I keep picturing the buttergreen. I don't know why, and I shouldn't, but they got rid of the native and they kept the land. Yeah.
JB says, I bought some dope brie, and I'm guessing her last name is Larson.
Brie Larson. We don't have a tie for first place. What do you know?
That is crazy.
But we do have a tie
for
second place.
I do like it that you have to specify the band. Garbage, the band.
I figure if I just put garbage, someone's going to say, oh, yeah, the whole stream's of garbage.
Yeah. But no, there is a very clear front runner. Which is surprising. Usually there is not.
Not only that, but I would never pick that one to be the front runner either.
No, me neither.
Well,
that's why it is.
That's customer service. You can't tell the customers what they want. They're gonna buy what they want.
Yeah.
Keith is asking about JFK, so maybe we should actually touch on the topic.
You want to talk about it?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
Well, as far as I'm aware, the JFK.
He was a president.
Well, yes, he was. And apparently they perforated his skull to make it faster. They put a speed hole in his head.
Yeah, it's weight reduction.
Yes. But as Mr. Yes says, the JFK files were released last night. I don't know what's in them. I have not paid any attention to it, but as far as I'm aware, that's the topic that was listed on the stream.
Well, apparently the JFK files say exactly what we already know to be true. So there's nothing in there that says, oh, by the way, see, I did this. No, it says, it happened just like everyone knows from the Zapruder film. So well, that's what I heard. I didn't bother with it. Like I put on the notes. Everybody hasn't seen the notes, but my notes on these topics are I always kind of put in my personal thing. It's JFK. The files are released, and I don't care. I couldn't care less.
Right.
That's my notes for the show tonight.
I mean, I don't care either.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the thing. Like that happened so long ago that most people alive today who remember it can't remember how to wipe their ass.
Yeah, true.
But the Epstein thing, they were supposed to actually release that shit, and they've had 2 judges double down on it.
Yeah.
I want that shit released, and I know that even though they do release it, not everything on that's going to get released.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing Epstein stuff. I don't really care about JFK or Martin Luther King. It's old enough now that there's no reason to worry about it.
Not really relevant.
No,
that's
the whole point.
I think Red Dwarf got it right when they explained who killed JFK, and it was JFK from the future time traveled back to hide behind the grassy knoll and kill himself to avoid an even worse future from transpiring. that was one of the episodes. I forget what season, but they saved JFK, and then in the future, like it turns out terribly. I forget the details, but like he was connected to the mafia, so the mafia took over the country, kind of thing. And so, in order to save America, JFK had to time travel back to 1960 whatever, and be the second gunman behind the grassy knoll to make sure that he did in fact die.
I never believe the grassy knoll. I still don't believe that it was. I mean, how could a bullet do what they say that bullet did? Doesn't make any sense. Magic bullet that made right hand, left hand turns. Bullet. So
well, it's like less than a year ago, somebody took a shot at Trump, or Trump, and I have only ever seen somebody do a demonstration one time with a mold where I was like, okay, I can see what you're talking about because you're actually explaining science to me. Everything else has been like, it was an opt. He tried to shoot himself. He was okay with shooting his own people. Oh, don't look this way. Don't look this way again when it happened like twice and then a third and then, a fourth and a fifth time. And don't look this way.
Have you ever seen the movie JFK with Kevin Costner?
Nope.
You should watch it because he explains what happened and how it happened, how it was like impossible.
I've seen something even better. I've seen the episode of Seinfeld where someone spits on, I think, George, and they conclude that there had to be a second spitter because they go through all the details of how the spit would have had to stop in midair to change direction. And like it's obviously a clear parody of the JFK situation.
It's true though. He shows this Zapruder film, Kevin Costner does, and he says this bullet is supposed to hit him in the back of the head. He says if it hits you in the back of the head, you move your head forward from the impact. He says, in this case, you can see back into the left, and he says like 4 or 5 times in a row. That means the bullet went in his neck, out of his neck, turned around, came back in and hit him in the jaw. How is that possible? It's like.
And Kevidem is saying Keith Hernandez. Yes, that's right. That's who it was in the Seinfeld episode. Forgot about him.
Yeah, that was another good movie. Me doling out movie reviews tonight. That's another good movie. If you haven't seen it, you should see. Probably Kevin Costner's best acting is in that movie. Plays a military officer, is dressed white, looks pretty sharp.
And Kividen is jogging my memory with quotes from the Seinfeld episode, so thank you, Kividen.
I've never watched an episode of Seinfeld, not one.
I mean, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. It's certainly one of those shows that is not for everybody. It's not. It's really not.
It's very much New York humor.
Well, the deal is that when it was popular, I was busy with other things.
Sure.
I wasn't watching TV at that point in my life. So it was just like, the same thing with Friends. I never watched an episode of Friends because at the time it was on broadcast TV, I was busy working and didn't have time for that,
Friends I didn't like. I mean, I won't say I didn't like it, but it was not nearly as good as Seinfeld. It was
overrated. It was okay, but it was overrated. Like it was hyped up so much, and then you'd watch an episode and be like, "Oh, this is okay."
Friends was very mainstream. Like if you've seen a sitcom before in your life, you've seen Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't do anything new or sort of experimental. It was just, how sitcoms work. Well, we made one of those.
Well, I mean, it had Courtney Cox. Any woman who has the last name Cox, my kind of girl.
It had Courtney Cox, it had Jennifer Aniston, and it had Lisa Kudrow. So take your pick.
Yeah. Funnily, I was probably the only man on the planet who didn't find Jennifer Aniston. the most attractive of the three. I always had a thing for Courtney Cox. You know me, light skin, dark hair. She's perfect.
She has a prettier face, though.
Yeah, she and Kudrow was tall, and that's another thing for me. Is tall. So those two girls were.
I like Courtney Cox too.
Yeah. Kudrow was just funny. Like she had a little bit of a when they let her actually tell jokes, she was funny.
Yeah, it's great comedic timing.
Like That's what I liked about her. Like sometimes I like a person's sense of humor more than like, yeah, she's pretty. Like, yeah, she is, but
probably the most well-written character on the show too. I mean, they gave her a very distinctive personality.
They did, yes.
So
I mean, she's the weird one. That's like her personality is the weird one.
But she's kind of adorable at the same time. That's pretty good writing.
I think it's also Lisa Kudrow pulled off the quirky oddball character well enough that it made her endearing rather than annoying.
Yeah. I just, during the time that those shows were on TV, I just had no interest in watching TV. It never really got better. I never really got to the point where I started watching TV. So
I mean, TV's had some good stuff on it, but yeah, no, you're not really missing much by not watching TV.
Commercials turn me off. That's really what did it. I get 10 minutes of the show, then 4 minutes of commercial. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm. Even without the commercials, like I have, what's it, Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
There's still not that much that's like good. Like South Park is on Paramount Plus, which is probably the best thing on it. But other than that, I mean, there's a lot of mediocre stuff that's fine. Like it's watchable, but nothing exciting. Nothing that's like, oh my God, I've got to watch this.
I mean, at the end of the day, Friends pretty much revolved around Rachel and Ross's relationship every single fucking time. And once you realize that's what it was about, you're like, okay, well, I can move on with my life.
Towards the end, it did degenerate into that. The start of the show is like a bit more of an ensemble where they actually tried to have all 6 characters be relevant in every episode, but no. Towards the end, it was, ooh, Ross and Rachel, ooh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am going to end the poll. If you want to get your vote in, I don't know if you'll make it. I don't know if you'll make an impact, but
it will not. I think it's pretty much impossible to dethrone the current leader.
Yeah, you'd have to get 9 more votes. I don't think that's
since we're talking about music and we were talking about Friends, it does remind me of the song that Phoebe did about the smelly cat.
Yes.
Like we should do an episode where we play songs from mystery shows.
Yeah. Where is it? Mr. Yes said Courtney Cox's only bad flaw was marrying David Arquette. I don't care who she marries.
I was considering
leg humped by Warwick Davis in Leprechaun. Well, that's a thing.
But they'll make that by Disney now, so it'll be AI generated CG weirdo-ness.
Mm-hmm. Tonight's winner is Push It, which I didn't expect to see that happen.
No, me neither. Yeah. I thought it was going to be Cherry Lips.
Yeah. It's not my favorite. I like all the garbage songs. It's not my favorite. If it was up to me, yeah. If it was up to me, it would have been When I Grow Up. I think it's a fun song.
That's what I voted for.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to vote me.
But no, I mean, Garbage has a ton of really good songs.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the amount of not as big a catalog as somebody like the Beatles or ELO or something like that. But
no, of course.
There's at least good 15 songs that are comparable.
There's like 5 albums that they've made from memory, which is like a decent amount. There's enough to have a good catalog, but they're not on par with like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or anyone of that magnitude.
All right. Well, this time I was smart enough to actually get the song prepped, so when the end of the night comes out, I can actually play it on time.
Yes, good decision.
Well, we've talked about Tesla terrorism, and we talked about JFK, so we've hit 2. You guys want to talk about SpaceX? Something nice that happened?
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it.
You guys watch it?
In spattered videos, it's like there's clips of them in space, and then I've seen one of them coming down in. I was a little concerned with them being in the middle of the open ocean.
They weren't there that long. A boat pulled up pretty quickly.
I didn't watch it. I know the gist of they were stuck in space, and then Elon saved them. So
did you see the interview with Elon?
No.
Oh, Elon said he was on with Hannity. And Hannity says, I don't want this to get into political. He says, I just want to talk about about what happened. He says, but I do want to ask one question. Elon kind of like, okay. And Hannity said, could you have gone up earlier? And Elon said, yeah. Biden said no. We asked him to do it. And he said no.
That's
and they just kind of looked at each other for a second and nobody said anything. And Hannity wanted to ask him. I could see it in his eyes. He's like, I want to get into this, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Let me know if you like those, because I'll get them again next time.
What, the pierogies?
Oh, I thought you had chicken too.
Yeah, pierogies.
Chicken's good too.
Okay, because they're like a cheesy jalapeno flavor or something.
You got pierogies?
No, my brother got pierogies.
Oh, okay. Can I come over?
He's got pierogies. He's got chicken nuggets, but they're supposed to be a jalapeno cheddar. And when I had them, I was like, I sensed the jalapeno because it's a little spicy. I'm like, where's the cheese?
What kind of pierogies?
Bacon and cheddar.
Cool. Good, Terry.
Mr. Yes says that when he hears the song name Push It, he thinks of Salt and Pepper. So do I. If I hear Push It, I think of the Salt and Pepper song before I think of the Garbage song.
Is that the same song? Pump up the jam, different. Pump it up. It's a different song. That's Salt and Pepper, right?
Well, Salt and Pepper was I can't even remember how it goes off the top of my head, but no, my mind's blanking on the actual song, but I do think of the Salt and Pepper song, not the Garbage one, based on the song title.
Yeah. So of course, every time Elon sends a Falcon rocket into space, watching the first stage come down and land is it's so cool. I'm sorry, maybe I sound like a geek here, but watching that huge rocket just boink, I'm home. Like, that's crazy. NASA could not do that. They had 18 years and they could not do it. And now it's routine. Like, oh yeah, well, it just landed on the pad. Of course. What do you mean, of course? But rockets don't do that.
They do now. Every
time I see it, I get this, me being the sentimental, mushy hearted person I am. I just get a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Accomplishment? Nah, that's not it. Well, pride, maybe.
He has every reason to be proud of what his people did, because it was recorded every step of the way. Mm-hmm. And he was so compassionate with those people because they have to be in so much pain right now.
Yeah.
Like
you see them carrying them off the ship. They got Falcon up on a staging platform and and the girl came out first, Simone, whatever her name was, and they had to carry her to a stretcher.
Yeah.
Because your bone density gets all screwed up and your muscles don't work right. And you get pretty screwed up because, 1,000 pounds up there is, 4 grams. You don't have to have there's no weight. You're busy accelerating so fast that you're falling, but accelerating at the same time. So you're weightless. So nothing weighs anything. So your bones and your muscles have nothing to do. So they atrophy. So
yes, this is true.
That's why we have to get something out there, a space station that spins, like from 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yes. I haven't actually seen that movie. I tried to watch it once, and it was so bad that I had to stop. But I haven't watched it. I started to watch it and got so bored that I stopped.
Our own Matt Christensen. But yeah, I mean, after watching Falcon's first stage land, the second stage goes out to the water, I think, and then finally the Dragon capsule. I watched it. How do I say this? Connect to the ISS. I was going to say mount, but that sounded a little too risque. And then, of course, I watched it when they got the astronauts aboard, and then separated and landed and all that kind of stuff. So I watched the entire thing. I spent, just cooking and cleaning and, they're at this part, let me stop and watch kind of deal.
Yeah.
So pretty amazing. So routine.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not my kind of movie. I like I said, I tried to watch it. It was not holding my interest in the.
Oh, 2001. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is long. Not a lot of action.
No. I know a little bit about what happens from just like osmosis, where like I've heard people talk about it. You know, like I can't let you do that, Dave.
Sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
Yeah. I know that, and like I know that the robot is HAL 9000, but I don't know that much about it.
Computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a science, it's not science terror. It's like it's very similar to Interstellar. Have you seen Interstellar?
No.
Nope.
There's going to be a lot
stupid
of
question. Yeah, I was gonna say that was a stupid question. Of course not. But they're very similar in the fact that they give you a premise and then they use the weirdest circumstances to move completely away from the premise.
Oh, okay. And Mr. Yes is on my side. He says Space Odyssey 2001 is kind of boring.
It is.
Mr. Yes.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it's slow and long, and not a lot of action in it. So yeah.
From memory, they had decent music. Like they had the classical music in it.
It's all psychodrama kind of stuff because the robot, as you call it, turns on him.
Oh yeah, that was me mistaking.
Yeah, it kind of turns on him and tries to kill him.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Was it "Thus Spake Zarathustra" is the song that I'm thinking of. Yeah, that I know little bits and pieces of it, but not a lot.
What are you reading, Jen? You're laughing about something.
Whatever argument Jack and Six have going on is amusing.
Yeah. Well, what happened was Six said, "Did I get here before Jack?" And I said, "Well, Jack was here at the start, but I don't know if he's still around." So Six said, "So I can make fun of him and he wouldn't know." And I said, "As far as I know." And so he is libeling, I suppose, because it's written, libeling Mr. Gunsky with horrible accusations of having bad handwriting, putting the wrong sock on first, being afraid of blue pens and birds that stare at him. Harsh words, Mr. Minutes, harsh words.
So yeah, she's home. Everybody survived.
And Jack is here. He has returned.
Yeah. Hi, Jack.
Nobody was talking about you, really.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I should tell you about this one, Terry, because you and I we're both not American, and I learned about this bird from Kefki. But there are certain states where 50 years ago, some guy decided it'd be funny to make a bird from cow turds.
Oh God!
And it's called a turd bird. So you'll go into a gas station and there's a plaque and there's a lump of poo with a face on it and bird feathers.
Yuck. Okay, I no longer wish to travel to America.
So when Jack's like, "I'm afraid of birds that just stare at me," I'm like, "Did somebody buy you a turd bird for your birthday or something?"
Well, I do know that bird is the word.
Turd is a bird.
Terry knows what I'm talking about. Turd bird.
Well, it's time to round up the show.
It is. That went quick.
We actually covered topics. I don't know what to do with myself now.
Yeah. First time for everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you guys have anything else? If not, we'll get out of here.
No, I'm good.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, just so you guys know, for games that I'm not going to play, and I don't think either of you will either, because it's really overpriced for what they're charging, Assassin's Creed comes out in the next 24 hours, and the only people I can see playing it are the trolls.
Yeah. Well, I think Asmongold is going to buy it because he wants to take the bullet to warn everyone else not to. So he's going to stream it so that no one else buys it.
That's the one where they have a black guy as the main character and his backup is a woman.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's
Man.
basically it's also him running around destroying altars that in Japan are actually kind of sacred.
sacred?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
jeez.
most of the people playing it are people who are pretty much on the side of Japan. They're
Yeah.
playing it to mock the game and the developers. So yes, that is money going back into it, but they're not going to make their money back based off of trolls.
No
They just
way.
aren't.
There's no chance of that. Not a chance in hell.
And I'm glad, because listen, I don't expect something to be completely accurate when you're coming to history. Lots of that stuff is a mystery. A lot of it we don't know. But you don't crap on somebody else. And two of the characters look like they're Korean, and I'm like, so you just think one Asian person is the same as the next, but
mean,
you're
I do.
calling me a fucking racist? Okay. Okay.
They have definitely earned their nickname of Poopy Soft.
Before we go, Jen, I like the flower, the potted plant.
Yeah.
That's
Blue
new,
drew
right?
this- Yeah, Blue drew this for me a while ago, and I keep forgetting that I could utilize it because the pew-pews on it are funny.
That is true.
Me and Terry have been using the same avatars for a long time now.
Yes.
Both done by Kefki.
Yes, Kefki drew mine. I used to have a more like the actual foot that
Monty Python.
Monty Python used,
Yeah.
and then Kefki drew me a Halloween version, and I just kept using it.
Yeah. I no longer use my hammer. This is my
Yes.
avatar now, so I like it better. I really didn't like being a hammer.
I
Doesn't make sense.
know Far drew your first, or one of your earlier ones.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. A hammer with a face on
The
it.
smiley face. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have that somewhere. I don't get rid of my old ones. I just archive them so I can keep them.
I like Far's artwork. I like her art style.
I use that on Christmas because I can put a whatchamacallit on it. I can put
A
a
Santa hat.
Santa hat. Yeah. So, all right. I guess we should get out of here.
We should.
Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember, the Minions are live every evening except Tuesday. That may change. I guess people want to change the nights that they're broadcasting, so Tuesday might actually get a host pretty soon. In any case, most shows start around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Hosts and start times are linked in the description down below. Don't forget about the Rumble pre-show. That stream usually starts about half an hour before YouTube, and that's where all the good stuff happens. You gotta stop by. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great one,
Bye,
guys.
guys.